What's going on, everyone? Welcome to another episode of Post Credits Podcast. Let me catch up. A show we are lucky enough to talk about movies with you. This is episode 79. Off to a great start. Recorded on Sunday, April 26th. April 26th, 2026. To get posted to podcast services on Tuesday, April 28th, to the usual spots: Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Spotify, Amazon Music, Podbean, and then YouTube. If you're listening to us on audio-only version, feel free to head on over to YouTube. You can watch full episodes there. Everything is time segmented out. You can click on the time codes. We try to snip out some funny and interesting things. Like and subscribe, however you choose to enjoy us. Thank you very, very much. Big changes coming, by the way. We just spent a lot of time discussing some of them.
We did. Things are going to be a little bit different going. The next couple of weeks start changing around a little bit for the better.
Today's going to be a speedier episode than normal, but
expedited.
We are making some changes coming. But as tradition dictate, guys, what's going on in your lives this week?
I'll lead it off. My birthday is tomorrow.
Happy birthday.
Happy 26th birthday.
26.
I will continue to do our yearly tradition for your birthday and get you nothing.
That's good. I would expect nothing to change here. I've spent most of the weekend celebrating my birthday.
Hell yeah.
Had a nice little grill out session at my house yesterday. Had some cool, refreshing malted beverages. It was nice. Watched some sporting events on television. Pretty perfect for me, honestly.
Nice.
It's great.
Good stuff. Perfect.
Had some ice cream. Went to bed early. It was great.
Hell yeah.
Perfect. Belly full of beers.
Belly full of beers, baby.
Beer and ice cream sounds terrible, but you do you, brother.
It's perfect.
Perfecto. What about you, Chris?
I had an interesting weekend. Went and did a thing with wife and some family members, other people. So got a little more dressed up than I'm used to, but it was all right.
Good for you, man. Did you wear a tie?
I did wear a tie.
I've never seen you in a tie.
I can't even imagine. I can't even imagine you in a tie.
I mean, I looked pretty dashing, but that's just
nice. Did you tie your own tie?
I did not. I very much asked my wife to do it for me, and she did her best. So
okay,
she did her best. Yeah. I did my best. I did my best with that Dane Cook skit.
Do you guys know how to tie a tie? I don't know how to tie a tie.
I used to have to wear a tie to work every day.
So. So you probably do.
Yeah, I do.
All right, next time I'll come to your guys' house. You guys can be ready.
I'll leave it tied so you can just slip it off and put it back on.
Perfect.
Yeah. Oddly enough, it's one of the things, because my class was the last one at Philadelphia Middle School. We did home ec. That was one of the things we learned how to do. I just never forgot how to do it. I've just always known since then.
I changed how I do it a couple of times. I do the super fancy double Windsor knot now because
that's nice.
Yeah, super clutch.
Yeah, we tie a tie. We made a basic budget, and we made a couple of very simple meals and a couple of like tea-like drinks. And you know what kids can't do once they get to be 18? Balance a checkbook, tie a tie, makes a couple simple meals. I don't know why they quit doing home ec.
You guys ever play that really old PC game where like you were like a bunch of kids in a snowball fight?
I don't like where this is going at all. I don't like this one bit.
I have no idea what you're talking about.
So you used to have like these little sprites, a bunch of Eric Cartmans, and you would throw snowballs, right? So you played it?
Yes,
that's what I did.
They would arc.
Yeah. That's what we did in home ec every day.
Of course you did. Of course. That's why you can't tie a tie.
You're probably right, actually. That's crazy.
Interesting.
Fair enough.
What else, guys? What else?
I don't know. What'd you do?
I worked. I had a conversation with a friend of mine who I haven't talked to since Atlanta 2021, who wondered how in the hell, his words, John Wick got as far as it did in the bracket battle, the bracket challenge with those other iconic and amazing action films.
Because John Wick is an iconic, amazing action film.
That's the best answer I think we could have gave.
Sure, but like then he's like, then I listened to the episode, Grayson, and you for the most part voted against John Wick, so you're okay. But he's like, if that would have beat Lethal Weapon, he's like, the world would have burned because that is nowhere near the caliber. I'm like, look, I agree with you. Stop coming at me so hard.
It didn't even beat Casino Royale.
Yeah,
it didn't even beat Jason Bourne.
What didn't? John Wick.
Oh
yeah, it made it somewhere.
It made it one round.
Okay, fine. Whatever. I've listened.
They made it the appropriate length.
I have not made it. I have not listened. I'm going to give some distance. Listen.
You don't have to tell people that. You can just say, yes, it was a good show.
Yeah, it was a good show.
It was a great show, actually.
Yeah,
and Lethal Weapon finally won something. Good for Lethal Weapon.
Well, I mean,
you say like we've snubbed Lethal Weapon and things before. First off, that has not happened.
I'm changing my movie recs now because I'm terrified to talk about movies I love and you guys put lesser movies in front of them, and I'm terrified. to do
Lethal
it.
Weapon is 1-for-1 in appearances in the brackets. You
Yeah.
know what I'm saying? So
Undefeated, bro.
That was one of the ones
Clean sweep.
That was one of the ones I was terrified to talk about because I was like, I cannot have this movie taken away from me.
And yet you were wonderfully surprised when all three of us agreed the whole time that Lethal Weapon is one of the goats of all time.
It is the GOAT according to our backer challenge.
And that very oddly specific. Yes, I cannot rebut that.
Yeah.
So,
all right, let's start a show, guys. How about it?
Good to me.
We talked about we're going to talk about a legendary king of pop today, but before that, I'm one of your hosts, Grayson Maxwell. Joining me, as they do, are my co-hosts Roger Stillion and the lovely Chris Boughan.
Yes.
As he said, he was suave and debonair in his tux.
It was.
We have no proof of this, mind you.
yes,
What
I
he said-
require a photo.
I would send it to the group chat, but I currently
Oh yeah, the group chat that Chris cannot respond to.
He can't. His phone will not allow him to respond
Taking
to
to
the
see
group
what
chat.
we send.
Yeah,
and
but
he has to respond to us individually.
Yep.
Which is the complete opposite.
so
of a group
we
chat.
can stuff that we send shows up for it, but he can't. The text box doesn't come up for him to type.
Yeah.
So we of course made the appropriate jokes. I'm sure you know what they are, but yeah, he cannot
I
respond to
don't know what
anything.
they are. What jokes?
No,
are they?
don't.
I'm not doing that.
Don't bait him.
Don't.
I'm not. First of all, I am not to be baited. Thank you very much. I appreciate that.
Is that all you got?
That's all I got, man. That's
Okay.
all I got. All right, once again, folks, this is episode 79 of Post Credits Podcast, where a show where we talk about movies with you. Let's start us off, but first, as tradition dictates, let's talk about the box office.
Let's do it.
Michael did very well for itself. Number one, 97 million domestic for 217 worldwide. Very good for Michael.
No surprise that that movie's going to get a ton of money.
And I mean it's huge in the UK, like Michael Jackson was massive in the UK as well.
Really?
The Super Mario Galaxy movie still number 2, bringing a very respectable 21.2 million for a worldwide of 831. Would you think that guy's think that'll cross the Billy mark?
I don't think so.
I don't think so.
I don't think he's got the legs for it.
No, not anymore. Project Hail Mary, number 3, 13.2 million for a worldwide of 613. That one is surprising me. I'm very happy. It's surprising me in the best way.
It's a great movie.
I mean, I of course wanted to make more. It's a great movie, great book, great people that were part of that project. But I'm happy with where it's at in the end. So
It is
Good
the
work.
most successful Amazon creation to this point.
I don't care about Amazon being.
Yeah, but I give it the credit where it's due because I mean they do own MGM now, so
Fair.
that's something that matters.
We'll see where a Bond lands when one of those comes out, if it ever comes out.
Yeah.
We've heard years for years
Do we have
now.
a Bond yet? No.
No, we
I
don't.
wasn't Idris Elba in a recent roundtable with some other actors.
Yeah, but like
and they
so
talked
is
about it?
Taron Egerton as like in the discussion. Like he's too young, and I don't know. It's just
I think listen, nothing personal against Idris Elba, but like this whole thing of like he might be the next Bond has been going on for so long.
Yeah.
Like he's not going to be
he's too old now.
the right age to do multiple Bond. Like, look, a one-off with Idris Elba, I would still definitely watch. I
Yeah.
just don't think he's got 4 movies in him.
No, and as a reminder, Craig went from Casino Royale was 2006 to 2021. He was
Jeez.
James Bond. So they're
God.
all
15-year
within.
commitment.
I didn't
that's-
realize it was
yeah,
that
that
long of a
long.
run.
All right, number 4, Lee Cronin's The Mummy, 5.6 million for a worldwide of 65. Why are you people still watching that?
Made more money than I thought it did.
Yeah, the
It
drama.
made money. I'm surprised.
The drama, 2.6 million, number 5 for 101 million.
All right.
Drama. All right, is because of the two very unattractive actors of Zendaya and Robert Pattinson.
Yes, clearly hideous.
Clearly
beasts.
hideous. 6 through 10, Hoppers, You, Me, and Tuscany, Over Your Dead Body, number 9, Mother Mary, number 10, American Young Boy.
Remember when you wanted to talk about You, Me, and Tuscany?
I did
Yeah.
not want. No.
Yeah, you
No,
did.
No, he
I did
wanted to watch.
no, I did not.
It was a different
Solo
one.
Mio. That's
Yeah,
what
that's what he
it
wanted to
was.
watch.
Yeah.
It was close. It
That
was
was
close.
months ago, man. That was
That
Kevin
wasn't that
James.
long ago.
Hey, listen.
Valentine's Day weekend. Yeah, of
That's
course
just
it
one
was.
of many.
Okay, fine.
We had a
You're right.
discussion similar to this before the show
Yeah,
started.
true. Yeah,
Fair.
I can't wait to be liberated in May. So that's
You
You
fine.
won't be. I will be.
All right.
And
We'll see.
All right. Whose movie rec is it this week?
It's mine.
on the board.
Let's do a movie rec. Oh, Chris is. I thought you said whoever is choosing. Okay, Chris, give us a movie rec. I'm excited and don't know what you will choose.
That was funny. So this week I'm going to recommend a movie that is again adjacent to what we're watching. Now this isn't a music documentary type film like Michael, but I am going to recommend a great movie that's based around music in some way, shape, or form, which is Whiplash. This movie is one of the best movies you'll ever see, and I don't think there's going to be another movie quite like Whiplash ever again. It was a very specific stylized kind of film that we do not see very often. It was an intense movie. I would say a lot of fun, but that'd be lying because I don't know if that's the case.
Intense is a very very
just
good word.
it was a wonderful movie with just great character pieces with two characters. It's one of those movies where the person you're rooting for, they win, but they kind of don't. Same thing with the villain of the movie.
Nobody wins.
Like, no. Well, the villain kind of does in this. I would argue, where J.K. Simmons, his name was Fletcher, right?
Terrence Fletcher.
Yeah, he actually wins in the end, even though he's in a lesser spot than where he starts the movie at. But he got his great jazz drummer. You know what I mean? He got what he was looking for. So, but a fantastic movie, great character pieces. If you like a movie that has intensity to it, has superior acting, great dialogue, and just things that'll go past your expectations, Whiplash is absolutely that movie, and it's got one hell of an ending too. One of the best endings I think in modern day film.
Nice.
I would agree. Whiplash. That's 2014 by Damien Chazelle, who also did La La Land and a bunch of other stuff too. He's a director I think is worth watching too.
Sure.
Miles Teller and of course J.K. Simmons. Melissa Benoist, she was the girlfriend for a little while. Nicole. Oh, and Paul Reiser, who I love in Aliens, is Burke. I've always liked him since then. But wasn't he Mad About You? Wasn't that him and yeah.
Did you know that Whiplash started out as a short film?
Yes,
and
sure, yeah.
And it had J.K. Simmons in it, but not Miles Teller in the short film. And it got picked up by major studios, and the guy who you mentioned who directed it and stuff,
Damien Chazelle.
He made La La Land first, and it wasn't getting picked up, so he made Whiplash in his free time, the short film.
In my free time,
and it ended up blowing up into what it was. So
Whiplash was 2014, and La La Land was 2017, wasn't it?
So, yeah. So yes, that's exactly what I'm saying. Is he was trying to get La La Land off the ground. It wasn't going, so he made the short film Whiplash in his free time, and it ended up blowing up, and then they made Whiplash. And he still had to wait on La La Land till later on.
Whiplash won 3 Academy Awards. J.K. Simmons got his. Won editing and sound mixing that year too. So, and you can watch it on Netflix right now.
Yep.
Another appropriate choice would have been Sound of Metal with Riz Ahmed.
Solid choice.
I feel like I felt like we talked about that one a little bit recently, and also I'm not as big on that movie as you guys are.
It's okay.
I love that's. I mean, fair, but I love Whiplash. I think
Whiplash is excellent.
I've only watched it a couple times because it's not an easy watch, but it's so good. Every time I catch it, it's
a masterclass in how to make a movie.
That's the thing is too, if you weren't familiar with what J.K. Simmons can actually do, you just see him in other things being a funny guy, about how intense of a person he can come off as. Mm-hmm. Whiplash is the movie, dude.
Yeah,
it's a brilliant movie. It's a great director, great writer,
and now he's the voice of Omni-Man.
Also, which is also a pretty intense role. So,
all right, thank you for that. That's an excellent. That's going to be a big contender.
Tough one.
That's going to be a tough one to beat.
Oh yeah.
Let's start off a little bit differently with getting. We're not going to do the expanded discussion. We're going to fold that into the discussion. And this week is Michael. So with the expanded discussion being, what kind of movie is this? I want to ask Roger's name because I didn't see it. But so what kind of movie is this? But let's talk about Michael.
Go ahead, hit the particulars, and we'll dive into it here.
So let's talk about some numbers first. You guys know what the numbers are for this? If you had to guess, Roger.
I bet you critically it's bad, and I bet you for Rotten Tomatoes critically, actually, I know it's going to be bad critically because this movie's very soft. But I bet you, because much like me, I enjoyed this film because it's full of great Michael Jackson music.
People love Michael. This thing's gonna be like 92 and higher for audience score. There's no
audience is 97.
Oh my god!
Tomato meter is 38.
That's about right.
Yep, that's.
I bet you the Metacritic's pretty low too.
If you had to pick a low number, what would it be?
45.
39.
Holy Shnikes.
I
thought it'd be lower than that. I thought it'd be higher than that.
It's like ocean territory.
Yeah, that's. But I mean, okay, so
it's a very enjoyable movie, though. I think.
Yeah. Do you want to hit some of the actors?
Yeah. Directed by Antoine Fuqua, which we'll get to that why that's important. But I like his particular style in this film. I thought he brought a lot of good flavor. Jaafar Jackson as Michael. I watched this twice.
Is he a genie now in this one?
Yes.
Well, he was so good as Michael. If someone told me, hey, they built a time machine, went back and got Michael, and filmed this movie and then put him back in the cast, I'd have been like, I believe you, because he looks so good. It looks and sounds
It's crazy.
Exactly like Michael. And Nia Long, which I couldn't remember where I just seen her from, but I just recently gone through all the Fresh Prince. She was Lisa Wilkes, the girlfriend from first
Watched
season.
all Fresh Prince.
I did, and I know you're gonna say next, but not
Cyberpunk.
Yes.
Okay.
Sunshine. Case in point.
I've watched plenty of things you recommended.
but not Sunshine. That was the first thing I recommended.
Probably.
Yeah, it was. That definitely was. Yeah, you take a sip of your zero sugar diet or Coke. All right, your delicious Coke that I've been thinking about since you got it out.
Tasty Coke, ice cold Coke.
All right,
We are not
Coleman.
sponsored.
You're not sponsored. Coleman Domingo, which fan favorite on this show at least.
Love Coleman Domingo.
Yeah, Giuliano Veldi. It's got a good cast. And was Michael Myers?
Yes.
Was he?
He's the CBS guy.
CBS, the producer who threatens to pull all this. I thought
All
that
his
was
music off of MTV.
because I didn't know, and then I saw his name in the credits. I was like, "Where was Michael Myers?" And that had to be that guy.
It's Mike Myers. Yeah.
All right.
Not the murderer Mike Myers.
Shrek Mike Myers.
Okay.
Yes. I mean, how many people you think we could talk about? How many people you think Shrek has killed? Because I bet it's a lot.
He's got a kill count.
A whole swamp full of bodies, dude.
At least.
What goes on in your head at night, Roger? I need to know what goes.
First
through your
off,
head
he's
at
an ogre, and he gets mad when people go into his swamp. You think
night. But he's a nice ogre.
It's not to everybody.
Well, wasn't for a while there. I think he's reformed.
Yeah, like look, I think he saw the error of his ways. Like the body's stacked up for a while. Like in his early 20s. Just
Do you have any evidence at all to support what you're saying?
no, but I could find some. I guarantee it.
Where are you going to find some evidence? This is a fictional thing to begin with. All right, back to the movie at hand. Let's talk about Michael, which is, of course, this is a look at the very famous Michael Jackson, small artist you may have. He had a few tracks that caught on.
Small guy,
yeah.
semi-famous.
It's a look at his early life.
Small indie rock musician.
It's a look at his early life, and I didn't know some of the stuff about Michael, and I'm very happy I now know some of this stuff. I didn't know he was Jehovah's Witness. That's what I didn't know. I had no clue. Do you guys know that?
No,
I did not know that.
You didn't because you haven't watched the movie, but you still don't. So let's talk about it. Roger, first impressions.
First impressions, so I enjoyed this movie, right? It's musically it's great. Like they do an excellent job of recreating some of the most iconic Michael Jackson things that people know. Like the movie ends with his performance of Bad in London in
Full performance,
1988.
too. Yeah.
Full go of the song. Multiple full songs from the Jacksons, the Jackson 5. The making of Beat It and Thriller are both included in this. Some of the biggest things, a bunch of the stuff from his first record, the Off the Wall record, and they do that very, very well. I think it's great. Like very much, if you spun up the Michael Jackson's early greatest hits, they got them right. They did it, and they did a very good job at that. The story past that, though, not much going on there. 99% of this story focuses on Michael versus Joe Jackson,
His dad, yeah.
His dad, who is an incredibly garbage human being.
What?
And yeah, I mean, but the thing is like most people know that, right?
At least in a broad sense.
Yeah. From a 5,000-foot overview, most people know about that kind of stuff. The movie ends in 1988. Right before a lot of other things about Michael Jackson start to come to the forefront.
Oh yeah, this is
and
part one.
Yeah, and it literally says his story will continue. Like there will be a sequel to this movie, which is fine. I'll gladly watch it because I assume then the production value will be just as good, the sound will be just as good, and we'll actually get a story of more of like stuff we don't all know. Like I would love to see some of that kind of stuff, but that's not the movie we got. So talking about the movie we got, it's a fine. Spin up my iPod from 2006 and listen to Michael Jackson's greatest hits.
Yeah,
it's fine.
I echo that. I was very entertained, but it also seemed to me the movie didn't know what it wanted to be.
Nope.
And I had no idea it was a part one. You guys need to start advertising this stuff.
So I don't think it was a part one. From everything I've seen, is that the movie was probably longer, but it had to get into reshoot territory because they got in trouble.
An allegation.
Well, they got in trouble because they didn't want them to air the allegations side of things. So I think this movie probably had more to it, and then they cut it down because of that. And it got reshot and edited to fit that window.
I know it was edited heavily towards the end of its cycle.
Well, I think that may have been the decision for because you would shoot all the performances short, because if you had the talent, which they did, it looks just like Michael. Why not shoot him and have the editing room? So I'm sure that they ended up having to fill in a lot of that time with full performances of full songs,
maybe.
like the Thriller and then Bad. But what because when I got up and like it says like it's like because it ends with people cheering him on as like a massive icon in pop history,
Yeah.
like one of the most famous ever. He's got that famous shot of him doing this, like, and then it just says his story continues. Like I just took it to mean like I thought about it as I left the theater. Like I took it to mean as okay, Michael Jackson's fame grew, and I was like, oh, but the stuff that comes later is not so great. So
Well,
like
I
I wondered.
he has a Super Bowl performance, which is legendary.
Yep.
Is one of the things that he ended up doing, like later in his career. Like,
There's a couple other big musical things that he
Yeah.
will still do, which is why I know that they can absolutely still make this into some sort of larger scale production.
Mhm.
But I mean, let's not beat around the bush here. The story part, not the music part, the story people want to know is the allegations, is
course.
the news story stuff. Like that's the story most people would at least want to get their eyes on. right?
I would argue it's 50-50 because Michael Jackson, love him or hate him, no matter what you think about the man, he has one of the most fervent, loyal fan bases that have ever existed.
Yeah.
And
Legendary artist.
And I would say at most is 50-50 that want to see like that story beyond. A lot of people with what they got are going to be extremely happy the way this whole thing is, and consider this the package deal, and they don't have to ever see anything of this again.
Well, I mean, I also think too that is a reason because like this movie did a lot of money this weekend. It's trending just shy of $100 million worldwide.
Not bad.
Not bad at all.
Not bad. And
no, worldwide 212.
I'm sorry,
97 domestic.
Yeah, domestic.
There's a real chance if these numbers get bumped up a little bit that it does clear triple digits this weekend, right? Which it's a hell of a performance. And those people that want to see this are just seeing this for the music. Almost all of them, I guarantee, which is fine. It's a fine thing to do. And maybe you might be right though with saying it's probably 50-50. But you never know. Like I would have a hard time saying if somebody that did see this movie that was a fan of Michael Jackson's could legitimately be like, well, the story's good. The story is just from point A to point B to point C for them to give you another song, right? With Everybody Hates Joe Jackson sprinkled in, right?
Yeah.
Because I mean that's really what
every
it is,
movie
right?
needs a villain. That's the thing.
Sure,
yeah.
But that's why I think when there's another movie that you're going to find out that Mike might be
the villain,
a villain, not necessarily the villain,
right? A villain, sure,
right? Not as innocent as people, because like, look, that is a big thing that they really push in this movie, and like, I am no expert on Michael Jackson and everything that comes out at post 1988. All right, I won't pretend to be that guy. I was 6 years old in 1988. I would have loved to, heard his music on the radio, all that stuff, saw him on MTV, that kind of stuff.
Roger in his living room, 6-year-old stuff.
Just beat it. Sure, just
Roger's under his whitey tighties,
dude. Yeah, bathrobe spinning around. Oh yeah,
he's walking back and forth. 6 years old.
But it's for when you can't have the second part of this and not cover some of that stuff. You just can't, because the story itself was as big as Michael. So that's what I mean.
All right,
well, I would argue this is not like, that's what I brought the question, what is this? And I wanted to do that because, like, is it a biopic? Because I would argue it's not, because we didn't get the full story. We did not get the full story. We didn't get any of the bad. This movie makes him look like a saint. That's my problem, is like, we all know he's not. And like, that's not to say, but it focuses. So the thing is, it focuses on
allegedly.
Sure, allegedly, fine.
But from this movie, you would never know.
No,
yeah.
But here's the thing:
you never know.
The tagline on IMDb says the early life of the famous musician Michael Jackson, known as the King of Pop.
Yeah.
So, was it always the intention to only show up to a certain point and then nothing further, or was that always the intention? Because I don't think that it was. I would imagine somewhere in the making of this, they decided we can get $200 million opening weekends if we do 2 movies.
That's very possible.
I mean, I would hate to think that there's not going to be a part 2.
For my research, I know that this thing was heavily reshot because they got in trouble for trying to show the section of his life that has the allegations involved. So their original intent and how they're going to turn into part 2 are 2 different things, but they intended this to be more, at least in some way, whether that be 2 movies, 2 parts, or a longer movie that covered more ground,
It's not
have
super
you.
long either. It's
No, it's
only
not.
like 2 hours.
Which lends more to the whole, "Hey, we had, like, another half of a movie here, and
Yeah.
it got changed," kinda deal,
But
so
this movie's particularly covers. It starts in Gary, Indiana, in 1966, and it ends in London in '88. And like they are very serious about telling you what year it is.
Yeah.
Like with a big on screen, like 1992 or like 1984, 1979.
Is it linear? It doesn't time hop
Well,
or
no,
anything?
it does the
goes-
bookend thing.
Yeah, it goes linear. Yeah, well, it starts at the end and then it gives you the whole story.
Okay,
Up to that
gotcha.
point. But once you get past the very first like 10 minutes,
Mhm.
it's all linear from 1966
Gotcha.
all the way through. And the one thing this movie relies heavily on is you seeing Michael as a little kid growing up and being really not well adjusted.
Mhm.
Like that is something they lean very heavily into.
Yeah.
And I mean, it makes sense because you see how famous he gets and how fast it happens
Hmm.
and how much of a little kid he still is, even up until like 1984, 85.
Gotcha.
So
I don't know much about Michael Jackson. I know his music huge. I love his music. I know it's I've never done like a deep dive into like the story of Michael Jackson. So this is all new to me, but we finally got the the cross we've always wanted of pop music and the origin of Caesar the monkey. How he came to be. No, not funny. All right. Because of Bubbles. We saw Bubbles.
I get it.
Yeah, we got it.
Not funny. All right, crickets. Thank you. So
I want you to understand we got it.
so we have to talk about Jaafar Jackson. How just incredible he's done in this movie. I'd be willing, for the first time in my life ever, I'd be willing to give him the Oscar for this performance. It's incredible. It is incredible how much he replicates Michael Jackson. What I remember on MTV with my sister when I was super young and watching interviews my whole life, and boy, does he look the part. And I like what you said about he's different. You know, his mom, Nia Long, tells him in the beginning, like, you're different. And like, I like that because he acts different. And I don't know, it's the mannerism that Jaafar Jackson got down because he is the nephew of Michael Jackson, right?
Yeah, he's related, yeah.
Which is amazing. Like Jaafar Jackson has a career going forward to play Michael Jackson if he wants, I'm sure. But for good or for bad, whatever that means.
If he sang the songs,
He did all the own voice work.
Incredible.
Yeah, and the voice was his too. So I like that Michael the performance was so strong that I was so floored by it that he got it's just everything you just said. It's hard to put into words. We're trying to be quick here, but
no, you got time.
I think it's what he did with the character. I think is probably as much a credit, and I don't often give Antoine Fuqua any credit, but I would say that Antoine Fuqua deserves some credit for this movie because he had to have had a part in this. How to play Michael. He's had to have been directing Jaafar how to play Michael, and like no, a little tamer, and then a little more like that. To me, is an achievement. So if you have not seen Michael, I hope I've sold you on a reason to go watch it based on Jaafar Jackson's performance.
The incredible effort that they had to put into this for the choreography alone.
Oh my goodness, yeah.
I mean, because it's easy to watch a tape of somebody and be like, oh, that's pretty good. You know, he did a really good job imitating that. This is not a joke. Like, especially the last performance, how this movie ends with the performance of Bad in London. It is the entire run of that song from start to finish, exactly how Michael did it. Even to the point, which is one of the most iconic shots in like music history, of the white smoke blowing up behind him while he's singing, like with his head tilted
He's got
down,
his hat down.
his hat down over his head, like one of the most famous things. And it looks like you are in the crowd watching it happen. It is so realistic. And I understand, you know, it's a movie, it's supposed to look that way. It's just something about it makes it stand out and be like, wow, that's wild.
Oh, yeah.
It's nuts, man.
It really does look cool. Like it's something that you see even like in other things that like that I noticed, of things that I wasn't super familiar with, when the whole stuff with the Bad, when he got the gang members and stuff to come and show them
Bloods
like
and the Crips
the
thing.
Bloods and the Crips thing. Yeah.
Beat it. It was Beat It, wasn't it?
Yeah, I'm sorry, Beat It. Yeah. And like they're all standing around, like they're having like a real conversation about things and about how they express themselves and how they go. And I think a lot went into that because, yes, there were cameras and stuff there for that, but somebody has to tell that story that would have had to have been there
Yeah.
for that. And it's very interesting how it comes to the forefront. So they did really, really good with that kind of stuff. Like performance level, like we've seen plenty of musical biopics before, some really good ones even. Like
That was going to be my question to you guys next. Was how do you think this measures up as a music biopic compared to like some of the great ones though?
Hence the question I asked. Like, I don't think I'd call it a biopic.
So yeah, that's the thing. It doesn't even chart because this is Michael Jackson music, and the biopic part isn't there. Not really. It's such a watered down story, and like I would argue that there is nothing controversial in this part
At
of
all.
at
Nothing at all.
Like, look, I don't know Joseph Jackson. I don't know how he was as a person. Never met the guy. Never, most people understand that Joe Jackson, the father of the Jacksons, was not a good person.
Yeah.
They do a really good job of telling you that Joe Jackson sucks.
Yeah.
Okay. They make that very abundant that he's not a great parent. He's he's in it for Joe, but Joe's in it for the family, and like that's a big running theme through this. He's the only villain here.
Yeah. Well, like, so I mean, doesn't that play against the movie critically then if they didn't?
Yes.
If they didn't
yes,
give a good story,
that's
then?
the point that Roger's making. Is,
Yeah, I think. Well, that's why too. Like, look, if you are a Michael Jackson fan, you have no reason to not like this movie. It gives you everything you want it to be. You get to see Michael in a very positive light, like an overly positive light at most points, which is that's kind of weird, because they really play it off as he's just some innocent, like maladjusted kid, right? Except this maladjusted kid by the end of this is like 35 years old, in his early 30s, right?
But never quite grew up.
Yeah,
that's the thing.
Yeah, it never quite develops correctly.
And I think that's what I'm so attracted to on the screen is like he acts. Jaafar Jackson plays it off so much that I think the term I was looking for, like the way to describe it was, he acts like a child who's grown up but doesn't know how to play it, so he plays it quiet and close to the chest.
Yeah.
And like that's what I've got. If that was the goal, then he played it beautifully. I don't, from the little research I did, is that was kind of Michael, always in the background, wasn't really boisterous and doesn't really like speak up. He let others do the talking for him.
Not big on confrontation
right.
personally.
And if that way, then they captured it in this movie well.
He made it a point to surround himself with people that would help him execute the hard decisions. Now he still had to be the one that made them, but like there's a point where a big turning point in Michael Jackson's career was when he does a solo album, when he breaks off the Jackson 5 and does a solo album, and he goes to the record people and is like, I want to do a solo album. They're like, Michael, this is a great idea. This is going to be huge. And he goes, you have to tell my father that I'm doing it. And it can't be my idea. It has to be the label.
That's a child way to,
Here's the thing. It works out for him on like a weirder scale. But the first several major decisions, he tells somebody else how he wants it done and then eliminates himself from it.
Gotcha.
It's something that happens. Like, when he meets up with Miles Teller's character, he's in a big board meeting, and it's typical. Hey, like there's a super famous person here. Everybody's kissing his ass, not really telling him straight up. And one guy was just like, "You don't need this. Like you're the biggest star in the world. You can do whatever you want to do." And everybody's like, "Whoa, whoa, whoa! He doesn't speak for us." He's like, "Let him speak." Like it's legitimately the most. And maybe this is 100% accurate. Maybe it went down like this.
Yeah.
This is the most cliche boardroom thing we've ever seen, where somebody finally has the balls to speak up to this guy.
Yeah.
And they become fast friends because of that. Because somebody finally was just like, I understand who you are, and I want to help you out, and I want to do this for you. But like, what all these group of people, like a bunch of yes men, you don't have to have that. You can make your own decisions because you're an adult man and you're very, very rich.
Yeah.
That's really what he tells them.
I'm looking for Miles. What was his name?
I don't know, but
he says it like the movie does it in a way where like when he says his name, you're supposed to be like, I know that guy.
He's the guy that was managed the Beach Boys and a bunch of other things like that.
I can't find him in the
Miles Teller was also recently in a movie called Whiplash, which is very good.
That's true. What a callback. And a small movie called Top Gun.
Yeah, weird.
Maverick, thank you very much. Best movie of 2022.
Top Gun 3 coming out. You know what I mean?
Yes, I can't find him, but Oh, and the other one, Lorenz Tate as Barry Gordy, and early. But one thing I think the movie does well, and maybe it was intentionally, tastefully done, is I can see some of these early plants, Roger, that you might be able to see too. Of
John Branca.
there we go. That was Miles Teller who plays John Branca. Okay. There's a lot of stuff in here that, like, I can see how the film maybe thought that planting the seeds of some things might. So I think someone may have thought, well, we can do it kind of subliminally while still telling the story of early Michael, so we're not leaving the accusations completely out, but we're planting it so people looking for that will be like, oh no, that was supposed to be that. Then maybe, because like I can see how some people might take some of these scenes in a different light. Can you see that too?
I can, but I mean,
Like when he's sitting with Barry Gordy by himself, like I can see how that could be misconstrued, and Bubbles, of course, and there's many other scenes with kids in the hospital, and it's
they make a real concerted effort to show his charity work, which is something that Michael was known for. Visiting people, sick kids in the hospital. Like there's a large chunk of this movie when he's in the hospital when he gets burned very badly in a very famous commercial shoot. By the way, thanks Pepsi. But he spends a lot of time there to the point where they have the conversation of like, hey, how much is this settlement going to be? And he's like, should be well into the 7 figures. And he's like, make sure all the money goes to this burn unit. Like that's the kind of person, that's the positive light of what Michael Jackson, one of the more positive things. And they put it a big thing that he's constantly at the hospital visiting kids in the cancer ward, in the burn ward, and things like that. And many, many times he goes to the toy store right there and buys a bunch of toys and just gives them out to the kids. It's something that they make it a point to show, because this movie makes you, puts the light on, he's still a kid at heart.
Yeah.
He wants these kids to be happy because it makes him feel happy. And that's a noble thing. How accurate that is, though, I don't know.
imagine it might be.
Well, listen, I know a lot of the charity stuff is accurate. That's the stuff
as going to like show the audience the state of his mind even when he was older. It's very it's very powerful then, because it does do that.
Yeah.
So I guess that may have been a creative decision. Again, I don't know much about Michael, but I can see if they had chose to do that for a reason, then I completely understand that. We also have to talk about like the full performances of several of his, again, small music pieces you may have heard of one time in your life. Beat It and Thriller, huge, man. That music video changed a lot, didn't it?
Yeah.
That changed everything. And then I like they also included, like, at his concert, people were literally fainting because like he got close enough, because they almost touched him. Like when I got to touch James Cameron's hand a few weeks over Christmas.
Yeah.
Like I could have fainted, been happy, but
should have.
No, man, it's weird. Did I become that guy to James Cameron that fainted when I touched his hand? No,
that'd have been so funny to me.
But it's like two things I think the movie did a very poor job at is really capturing. Like the movie did an okay job of establishing how massive Michael Jackson was and what he meant to people. It did a really poor job of showing you how much of a gigantic, monolithic icon he is in the music, and probably in the U.S. music. He's probably like, there's not many his side. Maybe Elvis. That's it. Who else?
Bigger than Elvis, man.
Yeah, he's much like the thing is like he is got to be the most famous person ever done the music scene.
I mean, if all the stuff towards the end of his career in life didn't come about, he would be iconically the highest. He would be as upper echelon as you could get.
So the movie does a poor job of that. Also does a poor job of presenting a reason to be invested in the story outside of the music.
That's very
true.
And
that's what you said, what you're saying earlier. Like the story just isn't there.
Yeah.
And I can see how they thought that, well, Michael Jackson fans might allow it because they're being carried by stuff they love. I see that. But to someone like me I'm in there for the story, never for the music. I mean, for music, yes, but I'm a story guy first. So it just didn't catch me.
Well, I think investment in a character that you're rooting for, and then that character falling from grace kind of is that drama that you're looking for that doesn't exist, because again, we stop at a very specific
This movie does
point.
not address that. Yeah.
Yeah. So it's like I think you get that characterization if you get the whole story, and you get a more complete feel for the character and the arc, and then you get that, but you don't have it with what was given in the movie.
I wonder, do you think they're ever do you think even a part 2 might even be taught, like one is even in, because like the part 2's got to be all the bad.
Not all the bad, but it would end bad.
Sure. I mean, sure. I
Well, I mean,
understand.
I bet you legit. Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off there.
Nope.
I think you could legitimately have. So when this movie ends, like his career has gone like this. Let me get in front of the camera here.
Meteoric.
It's gone, shoo,
Yeah.
and it's still going. Right, like we are still climbing. There's still a couple of milestones, like you mentioned before, like the
Yeah.
Super Bowl thing still has yet to happen.
Yeah.
So like there are still some more giant steps forward for Michael Jackson that would happen during a second film. And then
there's a lot of things
other
on the
stuff
down.
that's
Yeah.
going to happen. But the other part of it is with the second part of his career and towards the later end of his life is the allegations that come out, and I'm not going to talk about that in full here, but there was a large part of people that just didn't believe any of that kind of
Yeah.
stuff could have possibly happened. And it didn't really even slow down his career that
No.
much. It's not like if this would have happened in, 2010, 2015, how devastating something it could have been, because a lot of people were just like, I couldn't happen. Never could have been a thing. And his career just kept going.
Yeah.
Like the shine barely dimmed.
Yeah, it took the baby off the balcony incident to really, because there's a video of that.
Yes.
And that's what really started
You
the
can't
quiet
can't talk around that.
Yeah. So
Well, nobody knows what happens behind closed doors. Well, you hung your kid off a balcony, so in hindsight, not a great idea.
yeah.
But there are a few other things too that they do kind of talk about here, because one of the biggest things in Michael Jackson's career, and most people know this, is about his skin lightening.
Yep.
So they do make a mention of that in this movie, where he is starting to experience it, but it's just on his one arm.
But again, like that's a major part of who Michael Jackson
Well,
became. So,
which is the thing, we're not quite to that point yet where this movie ends.
which is why I don't think I think you're right, and I think you're wrong. I think there was always a part 2 plan. Now that I'm thinking about it, I think there may have always been a part 2 plan.
Unless this movie was like 5 hours long, I think.
Okay, sure, that also could have been a thing, but we only got a 2-hour version of it.
Yeah,
so.
it's what, 210, something like that.
207. It says
something like that.
IMDb.
And it really does. It just kind of ends on the London performance.
Yeah.
Like it doesn't talk, because like that's just kind of hard stops.
Yep.
After that. So there is plenty of Michael Jackson left to discuss if they want, no matter what direction. Like, I guess the other part of it is too, we absolutely could get a second one of these that never touches on any real the negative, much like this. They absolutely could still do that, and it would still probably make a bunch of money if they put as much time and effort into the musical side as they did to this. Because the one thing this movie does incredibly well, and I cannot stress this enough, the music and the performances in this are as top tier as we have ever seen.
Yeah.
Like, two of the other biopics that, musical ones especially, and even if you don't want to consider this biopics, is Bohemian Rhapsody and Rocket Man both have really good facsimiles of performances here.
Yeah.
Those are facsimiles of performances. These are real performances done.
I mean, if you're gonna do a movie about King of Pop, Michael Jackson, I think the music has to be one of if not the highlight you can point to, right?
Of course.
Yes, but it's not just the music.
Yeah,
It's everything.
Oh, yeah, it's the entire package.
It is
It's choreography. It's
It is.
it's the sexiness on stage. It's every
It
it's
is
his
the
presence.
absolute presence. Exactly.
It's his
what it
gravitas.
is. It
Yeah.
is. If you didn't know, that's Michael Jackson.
Yeah.
Like, for real, for real.
I could show my kids, hey, look,
Yes.
this is Michael Jackson, and they'll never know the wiser.
Yeah, like if you played them a song and he'd be like, "Hey, here's a video of that."
Yeah.
They'd be like, "Oh wow, Dad!" they would never know.
Yeah.
Because it is so well done. It is. I mean, props to that. Like,
Yeah.
I don't know if Jaafar Jackson will win an Oscar for this.
I hope he's considered.
Well,
man.
I think the movie itself, the critical side of the movie itself, might cause
Will hurt his chances.
But like, look, sound editing,
Yeah.
makeup, good Lord, man.
Yeah. I mean,
you made another human being Michael Jackson.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
Michael Jackson.
And I've only heard stories about this, but when he did the London performance of Bad in 1988, when he did the moonwalk, like people lost their minds
Yeah.
over it. People talked about it for months and months and months. They couldn't figure out how he did it. And also the lean didn't he have like special things in
Well,
his shoes?
he hasn't done that yet.
Right, but I'm saying in
He has a
history,
thing where he locks in so he can lean forward.
that's the one. But like, people. I mean, it's just there are a few musical icons as big as Michael Jackson, and I would argue there's probably none. I mean, unless you don't count Nickelback, and then But I'm kidding.
Are we? Are we
I'm
kidding?
not kidding at all. No, I love them. I'm unabashedly, I love Nickelback. I think they've done an okay job because like we've said in weeks past, the fan base, like for Mario, if the Mario fans in the world love the movie, then isn't it kind of a success? Like, doesn't it kind of have to be considered on some level of success?
I don't know if it's kind of a success. I think it just is a success.
Yeah, I would agree with that.
Okay. Well, I mean, this movie has surprisingly a lot of the same problems that Mario does. The story is just not there.
Yeah.
It looks great, sounds great. Mario
Well,
looked phenomenal, sounded phenomenal, and all the characters were there, and all the great fan service. Same with Michael. It stops there, though.
I would even argue more to the extreme degree with like the fan service side of this movie, like for its fans, because that's what the movie revolves around are these performances.
Yes, of course.
That's exactly.
Well, yeah, that's a very good correlation between Mario and Michael.
Nice.
But it really is like this gives you, if you're a fan of Michael Jackson, this gives you a mini synopsis of 20 plus years of Michael Jackson with very little negative. Like they just don't put it in this film.
That's good.
Like, and the very little, like, it's something I've already addressed with the Joe Jackson stuff. And most people know that Joe Jackson was not a great father figure to these kids.
Yeah.
Like that's fairly common knowledge.
It's good. It's good for the fans that this movie is the way it is because they're, as we've seen with the 97 Rotten Tomatoes score, they're going to enjoy it for that reason, and it will make it hard for them not to walk out and go, yeah.
Shout out
You know
to,
what I mean?
Shout out to Coleman Domingo though, because I hated Joe Jackson
my God,
in this movie.
that is one thing
So good for you, Coleman Domingo.
Critically, you can talk about this story being soft as hell all you want, and I can't make a word that
Can't argue it.
You just can't. But Coleman Domingo, goddamn dude, you are a hateable prick. and like,
You
look,
can play-
I love Coleman
You
Domingo.
can play a hateable prick.
Certainly.
Let's say that. Yeah.
Certainly, what a douchebag.
Oh, it's the same way. Like I'm not on the same scale, but like I mean, Lena Headey as
Cersei Lannister.
Cersei Lannister.
Oh,
Like
yeah,
what
yeah.
a phenomenal job she
What a
did.
douche.
Yeah.
I hate this guy.
But like Coleman Domingo, look, we sing his praises on this show all the time. We
Yeah.
love Coleman Domingo. I think he's one of the greats, and he
Mhm.
made I would have strangled the shit out of him had I. That's how good he was as Joseph Jackson. He was just so detestable.
He's just hateable. Just a hateable
Yes.
guy.
I don't know how much. I might do a little bit of research, find out how much this is accurate and how much is not. Only because I'm now very curious.
I assume that they probably even toned it down.
Really, you think so?
Yeah,
his
because-
part. Yeah, probably his influence on the kids and how bad he actually was towards those kids.
Because I didn't
would bet.
really. He was bad, but like I don't think I wouldn't call him a father who exploited his kids in this movie.
Well,
but
I know
one
one of the
was.
things that they allude to in this. You see it a couple of times. Is he does physically abuse Michael, like he does whip him with a belt. Which here's the thing, in the mid '60s was not an uncommon thing at
No,
all.
very
So
common, yeah.
like I'm not going to talk about how you should parent your own
the
kids.
mid-90s.
90s, yeah. But it's one of the things. It wasn't just Michael that got that.
You're old. I get it.
Yeah, yeah. Thank you. It wasn't just Michael that got this, but we only see Michael experience it here because apparently it was the same thing happened to everybody else in his family. So
yeah.
We're only focused on Michael. That's the thing.
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
fair too.
but I
love
mean the
movie.
brothers. I mean we barely see Latoya or Janet in this movie at all. By the way, but we see Jermaine and Tito and the other Jacksons here as part of it.
We barely see Janet. Like she might have one scene.
Yeah, hardly at all. Like, here's the thing,
did we
though.
ever see Janet? Maybe we didn't see Janet.
I think we see her like once or twice.
As a young girl.
Is Janet still alive and with us, or did she pass?
I'm pretty sure she's still around.
There's a very good chance that she just said, "Hey, don't put me in that." You know what I mean?
What I understand, I think one of the few things I do know is the Jackson estate is very involved in this.
Yep.
So that's another reason why the story went the way it did, and they chose it to the points that they did. So that could also be a factor too, which I don't like because you're not getting the full
here's
story.
The thing, though. The one thing I want to talk about, Michael, for as much as you love it or hate it, that's up to you to make that decision. There's a lot of stuff that's left out here, and again, we're only covering up until 1998 or 1988, and unless you lived under a rock, lots of stuff happened about Michael Jackson far after 1998 or 1988. I gotta quit saying that.
So much that it's been memed 1,000 times everywhere. Like Scary Movie memed it for like 4 movies. Yeah.
Can we talk about memes for a second?
Yeah.
We get Michael Jackson eating popcorn multiple times.
Oh yeah, because he did.
The legendary meme of
Isn't he doing that in the music video? He's smiling in that wonderful smile he has. Yeah.
And, like, they have multiple shots of him with his big long fingers eating the popcorn.
Yeah,
And
and
I'm
but
like, somebody's seen that meme.
but I love how I did it with Nia Long as the mom, who also I think as a shout out to Nia Long, who was like she had a tough role in this, I think,
Mhm.
as playing Catherine Jackson because
Mother.
she had to. There's a very fine line between like being a good mother to your son and like coddling them, I
Yeah.
think. And like I think she flirted that line well because I think you could tell from her performance that she understood that Michael was not normal at all.
Right.
But a mother, no one knows a son like the mother. And so like back when he was all the scenes when he's eating popcorn and she's like, I'm gonna go to bed. He's like, okay, mom, well good night, mama. And like
Mhm.
that goes to the state of mind of Michael
Yeah.
being still
Like
kind
when
of
he's
young.
in his mid-20s and he's still talking to her like a child.
Yeah, exactly. And it's I think Nia Long did a fantastic job as well. There's so many great performances. I think the reason the critics have such a hard time with it, which I'm not arguing with, is there's almost no story.
Yeah.
So
It's really just plot point, song, plot point, song, plot point, song, song.
It's just a different version of the Beyonce concert, Taylor Swift concert show,
Jackson
the Billie
had
Eilish one coming out.
they had
so.
we were at Marquee with This Is
They had a
It was
3D concert, yeah, back in the day.
with Michael Jackson. It was a big
Yeah.
deal. Made a lot of money.
That was before he died too.
Could have been long before he died.
Not that long, but
Said it couldn't have been. He died in 2009. That was in 2009. Did he
Maybe it
die in
was like-
2009?
I don't know.
Anyway.
Whatever. Let's talk about budget for this for just a second because we're about time to wrap it up here. So this movie cost $155 million.
Whoa!
Or
Which
the
is a
two parts,
lot.
or the two parts did.
Okay,
I'm gonna keep arguing it.
Yeah.
I have no rebuttal in this
No,
case.
man, that's pretty good.
Or the 5-hour version.
Yeah,
did,
which is
yeah.
okay.
Yeah.
But I mean, all the money went to the production of the musical side of this. And
Yeah,
that's,
yeah.
If that's it, hell yeah, man.
Is it possible they had to pay for rights for the songs and why it cost so much too?
maybe not though, because
With the Jackson
that's-
estate being
with the
involved, I'm
estate
not
being
sure.
involved, you would figure it because listen, it has to factor in somewhere because like they hit all the big Michael Jackson songs.
The Jackson estate being involved does not mean the Jackson estate didn't get paid.
Sure.
I just thought about that through line in
assume
my
they
head.
didn't have to overpay to get it.
Okay,
though. I'm
gotcha,
assuming
yeah,
they
yeah.
paid whatever the normal rate for that is.
Okay.
But yeah, we know the money went into production and the music.
Yeah.
Because it didn't go to the story. It just didn't.
Well, and I will tell you that, like, from practical experience, big crowd scenes are so not cheap.
No.
And like, I guess you could do some digital stuff, which they may have done, but everything today with like people really kind of watching to make sure studios don't do that anymore because they want people to work is they would have had to have some of these people for like 4 days in a row to shoot some of these, and having 400 people or like moving them around so it looks like the shots are like it's full stadium,
Full crowd.
moving them around for 4 days, having 400 people, that is not a cheap thing to do. That is, it's very expensive.
Those sound like long days as an extra.
Oh, they are.
Honestly.
But you get fed and you get a couple meals and water. But it is,
And you get to be in a movie.
yeah, you get to be in a movie. Yeah, I mean to people all the time. They were like, you worked on Dark Knight Rises. I was one of the featured in the crowd scene. Like, that was cool, man.
High five, brother.
Yeah, it's just the 155 for one movie seems a bit high.
Oh yeah.
Seeing as how they can make an Avengers film for like 140 or something. So
Not this next one.
no, well, no, but they have been for a while actually. But
What do you guys' final thoughts?
Yeah, final thoughts, Grayson. Go ahead.
I love the music. I was kind of enthralled when he was on stage doing his thing, which I was like, my mouth was agape and I was open. I'm like, I was just watching Michael do his thing. And it's like, I wasn't alive when that was a big deal, but I get it. I've always gotten it. But then when I took a step back and I thought about the movie, I was like, there was no story here. So that's my problem. It's an excellent fan service, like Mario. It's an excellent fan service movie, but it's a really bad movie. You know, that's my final thought. It's a great fan service, but it's a really terrible movie.
No, I think that's fair. There have been a couple of movies recently where I've had like a theater experience, and it's funny because I had one fairly recently with Project Hail Mary as being as awesome as it was. I think the scenes, the musical scenes in this movie are experience, and they do a really good job at wrapping you up in it, seeing it from a full 360 around everything, and it works very, very well. Story soft, it just is. I don't think even the biggest Michael Jackson fans are going to watch this and be like, yeah, okay.
Yeah.
I have a hard time believing anybody that would actually watch this movie as the purest Michael Jackson fan wouldn't at least acknowledge that.
Yeah.
So But yeah, overall, had a good experience. It's fine.
Oh yeah.
Well, thank you guys for joining us for this shorter episode of. We're trying to make some changes as we come in, but that does it for us on episode 79 of Post Credits Podcast, a show where we are lucky enough to talk about movies with you. If you listen to this episode on an audio only service such as Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Spotify, Amazon Music, and Podbean, feel free to head over to YouTube. See us there also. Turn us on while you're listening to Michael Jackson and watching him as well. While you're doing homework, while you're making food, whatever you do, like and subscribe. Smash those buttons, helps us out very much in the algorithm. Thank you for joining us. And Grayson, Roger, and Chris will see you again next week for another theatrically released movie.
Yes.
Yes.